على آثارهم إن لم يؤمنوا بهذا الحديث أسفا إنا جعلنا ما على الأرض زينة لها لنبلوهم أيهم أحسن عملا وإنا لجاعلون ما عليها صعيدا جرزا أم حسبت أن أصحاب الكهف والرقيم كانوا من آياتنا عجبا إذ أوى الفتية إلى الكهف فقالوا ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا فضربنا على آذانهم في الكهف سنين عددا ثم بعثناهم لنعلم أي الحزبين أحصى لما لبثوا أمدا نحن نقص عليك نبأهم بالحق إنهم فتية آمنوا بربهم وزدناهم هدى وربطنا على قلوبهم إذ قاموا فقالوا ربنا رب السماوات والأرض لن ندعو من دونه إلها لقد قلنا إذا شططا صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Please recite another loud salawat. Next, we're going to have Hadith al-Kisa recited by Brother Ali. Please recite a loud salawat.
In the name of Allah, the All-Merciful, the All-Compassionate. Fatima al-Zahra, the daughter of the Prophet, peace be upon them, is to have thus related an event. My father, the Prophet of Allah, came to my house one day and said to me, "Peace be upon you, Fatima." I replied, "And upon you be peace." Then he said, "I feel weakness in my body." I said, "Allah protect you from weakness, father." He said, "Fatima, please bring the Yemeni cloak and cover me with it." So I brought the Yemeni cloak and covered him with it. Then I looked at him and saw that his face was shining like a full moon with his glory and splendor. After a while, my son Hossein came in and said, "Peace be upon you, mother." I replied, "And upon you peace, O light of my eyes and the delight of my heart." He then said, "Mother, I smell a fragrance so sweet and so pure as that of my grandfather, the Prophet of Allah." I said, "Yes, your grandfather is lying underneath the cloak." Hossein went near the cloak and said, "Peace be upon you, my grandfather, the Prophet of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you peace, O my son and the master of my fountain Kawthar. You are given the permission to enter." So Hossein entered the cloak with him. After a while, my son Hossein came in and said, "Peace be upon you, mother." I replied, "And upon you peace, O light of my eyes and the delight of my heart." He then said, "Mother, I smell a sweet fragrance like that of my grandfather, the Prophet of Allah." I replied, "Yes, your grandfather and your brother are lying underneath the cloak." Hossein stepped towards the cloak and said, "Peace be upon you, my grandfather, the chosen of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you peace, my son and the interceder of my followers. You are given the permission to enter." So Hossein entered the cloak with them. After a while, Abu Hossein, Ali ibn Abi Talib, came in and said, "Peace be upon you, O daughter of the Prophet of Allah." I replied, "And upon you peace, O father of Hassan and the commander of the faithful." He then said, "Fatima, I smell a sweet fragrance like that of my brother, my cousin, the Prophet of Allah." I replied, "Yes, he is underneath the cloak with your two sons." So Ali went near the cloak and said, "Peace be upon you, Prophet of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you peace, my brother, my legatee, and my successor, and my standard bearer. You are given the permission to enter." So Ali entered the cloak with them. Then I stepped forward and said, "Peace be upon you, my father, O Prophet of Allah. May I enter the cloak with you?" He replied, "And upon you peace, my daughter, O part of myself. You are given the permission to enter." So I entered the cloak with them. Getting together underneath the cloak, my father, the Prophet of Allah, held the two ends of the cloak and raised his right hand towards the heavens and prayed, "O Allah, these are the people of my household, Ahlul Bayt. They are my confidants and my supporters. Their flesh is my flesh, and their blood is them displeases me too. I am at war with those at war with them. I am at peace with those at peace with them. I am the enemy of their enemies, and I am the friend of their friend. They are from me, and I am from them. O Allah, bestow your blessings, benevolence, forgiveness, and your pleasure upon me and upon them, and remove impurity from them and keep them thoroughly pure." Then the Lord Almighty Allah said, "O my angels, O residents of my heavens, verily I have not created the erected sky, the stretched earth, the illuminated moon, the bright sun, the flowing seas, and the sailing ships, but for the love of these five lying underneath the cloak." Gabriel, the trusted angel, asked, "Who are underneath the cloak?" The Almighty answered, "They are the household of the Prophet and the assets of prophethood. They are Fatima, her father, her husband, and her two sons." Gabriel said, "O Lord, may I fly to earth to be the sixth of them?" Allah replied, "Yes, you are given the permission." Gabriel the trusted landed near them and said, "Peace be upon you, O Prophet of Allah. The All-Highest conveys his peace on you and his greetings and says, by my honor and glory, O angels, O my angels, O residents of my heavens, verily I have not created the erected sky, the stretched earth, the illuminated moon, the bright sun, the rotating planets, the flowing seas, and the sailing ships, but for your sake and love. God has given me permission to enter the cloak with you. May I join you, O Prophet of Allah?" The Prophet replied, and peace be upon you, O trusted bearer of Allah's revelations. You are granted that permission. So Gabriel entered the cloak with us and said to my father, "Allah sends his revelations to you. Verily Allah's desire is to remove blemish from you, O people of the household, Ahlul Bayt, and purify you with a perfect purification." Then Ali said to my father, "O Prophet of Allah, tell me, what significance has Allah given for getting together underneath this cloak?" The Prophet replied, "By him who rightfully appointed me a prophet and chose me a messenger for the salvation of mankind. Whenever and wherever an assembly of our followers and friends mention this event, Allah will bestow on them His blessings and mercy. Angels will encircle them and asking Allah the remission of their sins until the assembly disperse." So Ali said, "Verily by the Lord of the Kaaba, we and our followers are the winners." Then my father replied, "By him who rightfully appointed me a prophet and chose me a messenger for the salvation of mankind. Whenever and wherever an assembly of our followers and friends mention this event, there shall remain none grieved, but Allah will remove his grief. There shall remain none distressed, but Allah will dispel his distress. There shall remain none wish seeker, but Allah will grant his wish." Ali happily said, "Verily by the Lord of the Kaaba, we and our followers are the winners and the blessed in this world and the next."
Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We are actually very fortunate to have Brother Nuri Sadar joining us tonight to recite poetry. Before I invite him up to the front, I'd like to just give a quick bio about him. Nouri Sadar is a poet and filmmaker born and raised in London. His poetry focuses on the Halo Bit and the Prophet and his family, on divine love, spirituality, on issues of social justice. He has published 6 books of poetry and produced multiple albums commemorating on the epic of Ashura. Through books, albums, and videos, his poetry is read and heard evidently by readers and listeners worldwide. As a filmmaker, Nouri has produced and directed dozens of documentaries and short films tackling various issues that affect the Muslim community. Nouri is also the co-host and the creator of the 786 Boulevard, a podcast dedicated to the conversations at the intersection of the artistic expression, culture, spirituality, interviewing Muslims of divine backgrounds working in the numerous artistic fields. The podcast is also featured on the National's Top 11 podcast with inspiring Muslim voices alongside Obama-produced Tell Them That I'm a podcast, as well as others. Without further ado, I'd like to invite him with a loud salawat to the front.
Thank you, brother, for that kind introduction. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Inshallah, before the respected Syed begins the lecture, I want to share some lines of poetry about our beloved Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam, and I want to take you all to the moment, a moment from the day of Ashura that really breaks the heart. And that's the moment when he's standing there alone with 30,000 people in front of him. And imagine this sight. He looks in front of him, and between him and the enemy, he sees the land scattered with the bodies of his family and companions. These bodies are people that he once knew. His son, Akbar, strewn on the sand. His companions, Habib, Zuhair, Abis, strewn on the sand. Abbas, his flag fallen by the river. And beyond them, he sees 30,000 people jeering at him, yearning to drink his blood. And there's a moment from the day of Ashura where Imam Hussein asks the people that are there to kill him, why are you here? What do you want from me? Why are you trying to kill me? And they are very clear when they say, we are here to kill you because of what your father Ali did to our fathers and forefathers at Badr and Uhud. And it's here that he stands there and he says, is it really hatred of my father that's brought them here? Is it really hatred of my father that's brought them here? He says, Ali, come and see your name written on these spears. He says, is it really the hatred of my father that's brought them here? Ali, come and see your name written upon these spears. He says, even in death, until my last breath, I still say Ali. He says, my father Haydara, until my last gasp of air, I testify that you are my Imam. There was no greater Shia than Abu Abdullah. My father Haydara, till my last gasp of air, I testify that you are my Imam. When I raised my infant, my arm was raised and his back was bent. I recalled when Muhammad raised up your arm. Their hearts are full of hatred. Their hearts are full of hatred, like Iblis not prostrated. And I see that their stomachs are full of haram. Know that when I am struck and from my horse I fall back, oh my father, I fall firmly into your palms. I fall and wails can be heard from the voice of Zaynab. He says, when I fall and wails can be heard from the voice of Zaynab. Just like the nail, a tyrant comes and his hand breaks my ribs, hooves upon my chest until my last breath, Ali. Father, how much hatred on my chest is weighted. I feel it with every spear that strikes it. Ibn Sa'ad wishes the second Khalifa he pleases. It's as if together, cursing you they sit. Father, do you watch us here lamenting your Abbas? And I hear the tents, how the women lament. Father, do you watch us lamenting your Abbas, calling your name as the canteen he bit? And I hear in the tents how the women lament. Today, how many Fatima's eyes are wet? Today, how many Fatima's eyes are wet? He says, Mother, Zahra, don't you see how your daughters weep with you? Just like twins they are, and just like you, how their cheeks shall be struck too. What a great test. Till my last breath I say, Ali. He says, Father, I remembered the strike upon your head. When? When I saw the strike upon my son, Ali al-Akbar. Father, I remembered the strike upon your head. When I saw the strike upon my Akbar, a flower that I planted. By Fatima he was gifted. I watched in my arms as he turned grey and withered. What traits were there upon his face? What traits were there upon his face? It's as if Muhammad was in his place. As parts of Muhammad in my arms I gather. How he reminded them. Is that why they killed him? How he reminded them. Is that why they killed him? They saw not Ali Akbar, but they saw Rasulullah. What a blessing to see Muhammad in my arms one last time. Looking like Muhammad was Ali Akbar's only crime. Being and looking like Muhammad was Ali Akbar's only crime. And yet still I attest till my last breath, Ali, because I rose up for your sake. He says, I rose up for your sake, and I told my Lord to take, if it means that live on will his religion. He tells his father, Ali, I rose up for your sake, and I told my Lord to take, if it means that live on shall your religion. For the day of Ghadir, I am surrounded here. For the day of Ghadir, I am surrounded here by those that refused you, the worst of all men. If Najaf will stand tall by my blood, then take it all. If Najaf will stand tall by my blood, then take it all. And take my companions, and take my children. And if my tents burning leaves your dome still glistening, then let them burn, and take captive my women. If Najaf will still stand tall by my blood, then take it all, and take my companions, and take my children. And if my tents burning leaves your dome still glistening, then let them burn, and take captive my women. If while in chains my women still raise the flag of Ali, then take them, steal them, because in Ali's love, captives they are free. If while in chains, my women still raise the flag of Ali, then take them, steal them, because in Ali's love, captives are free, marched without rest till my last breath. He says, no, I was not just killed. No, I was not just killed, nor was my blood just spilled, but they tore me up and they left me butchered. They say they counted 1,300 wounds on the body of Imam Hussein. 1,300 wounds. This is not just a murder. This is hatred for his father. He says, no, I was not just killed, nor was my blood just spilled, but they tore me up and left me butchered. Their own tongues uttered that because of your father, upon these sands your bones shall be scattered. For the sake of his Lord, my father with his sword, he left their wives widowed and left their homes ruptured. For the sake of his Lord, my father with his sword, he left their wives widowed and he left their homes ruptured. This is the cost of truth. My men, my women, and my youth by the sons of Shaitan were all murdered. And no, never would I have it any other way. No, never would I have it any other way. Blessings shall flow from all the blood shed here on this day. Truly I'm blessed until my last breath. He says, O Father of orphans, I see your name is written upon those spears that yearn to drink my blood. O Father of orphans, I see your name is written upon those spears that yearn to drink my blood. No, they want to battle to the tooth and to the nail. Not just you, Ali, but also your God. For this I was led here. For this I was led here, as sings my name their spears. Come and see what's happened to your beloved, thirsty and left alone. Thirsty and left alone, broken down to the bone, bloodied and butchered is the son that you loved. Thousands of wounds bleed from the master of the youth of heaven. Thousands of wounds bleed from the master of the youth of heaven, bloodied and butchered. Thousands of wounds bleed from the master of the youth of heaven, wailing and screaming. The stars, they can hear the cries of my children. Trampled was my chest, trampled was my chest, until my last breath, I still cry Ali. Salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. These days, obviously, as we know, are also the days of Sayyid Zaynab alayhi salam. And we're very blessed and lucky to come here after the day of Ashura and still have these majalis, speakers to learn from and masa'ib to bask in. But for Sayyid Zaynab alayhi salam, these days are not the same. Imagine, every single year, she has to relive what happens to her family and companions. Every single year. So I want you now to come with me to the heart of Sayyida Zaynab. I know we're here listening, but close your eyes and bow your heads. Close your eyes and bow your heads. Let your tears flow and come with me to this moment where Sayyida Zaynab starts to speak her pain on what happened to her on the day of Ashura. She says, how can the tears ever end? How can the tears ever end? They may call our grief pretend, but their loss is theirs. Until today, burn do the tents, and in their smoke we lament until end do our years. She says, from Abbas to Asghar to Akbar, we'll lament Ashura forever. She says, I live in the smoke of the tents because in my eyes it still burns. I live in the smoke of the tents because in my eyes it still burns. And as the tents crash and they burn, lost in confusion, I turn. The name of Abbas sits on my tongue, and how much Hossein I yearn. All alone amongst the raging flames, all alone amongst the raging flames, and not one brother returns. The steps I took from that hill, after watching Hossein fall, they left my back bent. My brother Hossein no more. As rivers his blood still pours, his body remnants, and the scent of my brother still lingers. She says, the bodies that litter that sand, I once felt their warm embrace. The bodies that litter that sand, I once felt their warm embrace. Qasim would tiptoe to hug me. Qasim would tiptoe to hug me, a smile on his small face, a smile on his small face, but blood now flows there from cheek to cheek. Blood now flows there from cheek to cheek, and a small corpse is left in his place. Oh Hassan, my brother, if only you'd seen just how to his death he would race. His helmet was too big for him. I watched him be torn limb from limb, and I saw his small body dragged. His shirt was in his killer's hand. He would drag him across the land, as of his death he bragged. How you'd weep for him, oh my brother. We were killed by those who revealed their hatred for Muhammad, and when they saw his twin, Ali al-Akbar, how they yearned to serve his severed head. When they struck his head and it bled, I saw that revelation itself bled. They had no Muhammad to kill, so they killed Ali al-Akbar instead. They had no Muhammad to kill, so they killed Ali al-Akbar instead. And know that when he was struck, he looked like Ali, my father, so much. From his horse he fell. They jeered and they stabbed his body. They jeered and they stabbed his body. Are they Muslim? Can they claim to be? Because I could not tell. If only for the fall of Akbar, we'd lament Ashura forever. She says, a flag is a symbol of hope, and our flag is drenched in blood. A flag is a symbol of hope, and our flag is drenched in blood. What makes it worse is that this blood is the blood of my beloved Abbas. Imagine seeing demolished the man that you knew and loved. Imagine seeing demolished the man that you knew and loved. His hands torn, he's flailing, so helpless. His hands torn, he's flailing, so helpless. And face forced and face first, he falls into the mud. No more was he a mighty shadow. And when he falls, the arrow is wedged in deeper. The one who'd once come to our aid, he yearns simply to be embraced with no aid and no helper. What had become of our flag bearer? We'll lament Ashura forever. She says, how can eyes remain in sockets seeing what my two eyes saw? She says, I saw Ali Asghar's tiny arms flail. I saw Ali Asghar's tiny arms flail as from his small neck I saw blood would pour. She says, can his small neck hold that much blood? Can his small neck hold that much blood? His infant's blood my brother Hossein wore. And Rabab cries out from the tents. She says, they slaughtered what my womb bore. His blood was thrown to the sky as screaming his father would cry, oh Allah, look what they've done. My infant is bent backward. My infant is bent backward. Like a lamb he was butchered, and bent back is his head, slaughtered in the arms of his father. We'll lament Ashura forever. She says, they ask me why I still wail and why the women still lament. I saw my brother Hussein's bones shattered. I saw my brother Hussein's bones shattered. His finger was cut. His finger was cut and his back was bent. Not even his thobe stayed with him. Not even his thobe stayed with him. He laid there bare. His blood was his scent. He laid there bare. His blood was his scent. Shimmer cut off my brother's head. Shimmer cut off my brother's head. And he raised it up toward the tents. When the horses crushed his bones, I felt that crushed had been my own. How we wail and how we weep. Let them cut off my own head in place of Hussein's instead, so that peaceful he sleeps. My eyes were scarred with this sight, oh my brother. How we'll lament Ashura forever. And then finally she says, right now, smoke covers the sun, and our souls are left in desolation. We are lonelier than the furthest star in all of Allah's creation. We are lonelier than the furthest star in all of Allah's creation. But I see that millions are running to us. I see that millions are running to us. Not just one group, but a whole nation. And we are amongst the millions of them. We are amongst the millions of them, joining us in lamentation. I see that one strikes his chest. I see that one strikes his chest for my brother's broken chest. I say, bless you, my child. I see mokibs surround us, offering us water to quench our thirst. I say, oh Allah, behold. And until Judgment Day together, we'll lament Ashura forever. Until Judgment Day together, inshaAllah, we'll lament Ashura forever. Assalamu alaikum ya Sayyidi ya Mawlai ya Abu Abd Hussein. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Again, please recite a loud salawat for Brother Nur Sadar for that beautiful recitation of poetry. Inshallah, next weekend, Sheikh Hazari will be joining us. Next weekend, we request everyone to be on time. Without further ado, I'd like to invite Syed al-Qazwini to the minbar with a loud salawat.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة ويا عبرة كل مؤمن ومؤمنة يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيمة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. استحوذ عليهم الشيطان فأنساهم ذكر الله أولئك حزب الشيطان. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Forgetfulness is something very natural in all human beings. Children, adults, elderly, men, women of different nationalities, of different ethnicities, they all at one point or another will forget. Forgetfulness. This is a trait in human beings. This is a trait in mankind that they forget. At some point or another, they forget certain things. Once in a while, they forget. For example, you have an exam, the next day you spend the entire night, you pull a all-nighter to cram, to study for your exam. You try to memorize as much as possible. You go to the exam the next morning, you face the test, you face the exam, and some of the things that you spent the entire night memorizing will be forgotten. This is natural. This is normal. It happens to every student. You will forget. No matter how much you try not to forget, but you will end up forgetting. You go to the supermarket. You go to the supermarket and you planned on purchasing several items. You will forget. Out of the 10 items that you were planning on purchasing, you end up purchasing 5 or 6. Or you end up purchasing things that you did not think of. You went to the supermarket for one item, you end up buying everything else except that item. How many times does that happen? It happens because we forget. Sometimes you forget your children's birthday. You forget your friend's birthday. Even worse, you forget your wife's birthday. But don't worry, all you have to do is forget it once, you will be sure to remember every year. In Ramadan, I remember when we were kids, in Ramadan, we would forget that we're fasting, so we'd go to the refrigerator, we'd eat, we'd drink, and then all of a sudden, when our parents tell us, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I forgot." We forget. That's fine. Of course, in Ramadan, if you forget, if you're fasting and you forget and you eat, that's fine, but we forget. We forget. We human beings, my dear friends, we have a tendency to forget the things that are not important to us. If it's important, we wouldn't forget it. If it's not important, it doesn't remain in our mind. If it's important, we would make sure that we do not forget. For example, you have an important meeting early in the morning, you won't forget it. You're receiving your paycheck the next day, you won't forget it. Your mother-in-law is going away for 2 months, you're not going to forget about that. There's important things that you will not forget about. What do you forget about? The things that don't matter to you. The things that are not important to you. You know, one of my teachers in Najaf, he would joke. He would say, if one of us, when our mother tells us to bring her something from the supermarket, we might forget. But if my wife tells me, I would make sure I don't forget. If it's important, you don't forget. If it's not important, you will forget. Sometimes we forget to pray. Yeah, we become busy. We go out, do about our business, but salah, because it's not important to us, we'll forget it. Or before leaving the house, we forget to perform wudu. I'm going to be out all day. I won't be able to perform wudu outside of the house, so I have to perform before, I forget. Or I sit in the car, I forget to recite Ayatul Kursi. Or I forget to pay sadaqah in the morning. These are important things. But to us, it's not important. For me, I take it lightly, I forget them. But before going to sleep, do I forget to put my phone in the charger? No. We never forget that. My iPad, do I forget to charge it before going to sleep? No, because I need my iPad in the morning. I need my iPhone in the morning. We won't forget to charge the iPhone, but we'll forget salah. Or I'll forget to put an alarm to wake me up for salat al-fajr. Or when we leave the house, do we ever forget our phones at home? No. We'll never forget our phones. Our phones are always with us. We never forget. But when it comes to salah, we'll forget. When it comes to wudu, we'll forget. When it comes to paying sadaqah, we might forget. طيب. So forgetfulness in human beings is something normal. It's something normal. Nisyan. Nisyan. In fact, why is a human being in Arabic it's called insan? Insan is from nisyan. Because we forget. Nisyan is forgetfulness. Insan is a human being. Insan is called an insan in Arabic because he forgets. Because he has nisyan. That's the reason. There's a hadith in al-Shara'i by Imam Rida alayhi salam. He says the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called humankind insan is because they forget. It's part of our nature to forget. Forgetfulness, a state of ghafla, a state of nisyan. Of course, forgetfulness is not all on one level. Some forget more than others. MashaAllah, there are some people, their memory is sharp. They don't forget anything. Meetings, salat times, nothing. They don't forget anything. And there are some people that forget more than others. There are people that forget, especially if they're absent-minded. Some people, when you speak to them, you can tell they're absent-minded. You can tell they're not paying attention to you. When they're not paying attention, it doesn't go in, so they don't remember. So they'll ask you the question and again and again. So what are you doing next weekend? You tell them, and again. So what are you doing next weekend? Because they're not listening, they're absent-minded, so they forget. When you're absent-minded, you have the tendency of forgetting. They don't pay attention. And of course, we all know that part of old age comes with what? Memory loss. Short-term memory loss. As we grow older, we will retain our long-term memory, but we will lose our short-term memory. And this is mentioned in the Holy Quran. Allah says, وَمِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُرَدُّ إِلَىٰ أَرْذَلِ الْعُمُرِ لِكَيْ لَا يَعْلَمَ بَعْدَ عِلْمٍ شَيْئًا. أَرْذَلِ الْعُمُرِ. Allah says that some of you will go to the worst times of life. أَرْذَلِ الْعُمُرِ. The worst times in a person's life, after being strong, after being energetic. SubhanAllah. We could be the strongest of youth. We could go to the gym and build muscles and be very muscular. But when I hit 80, and 90. If I live that long, I'm hit with what? Memory loss. I start forgetting friends, family members, names of shops, names of old places that I used to go to, objects at home, maybe even my own kids. There are some individuals that forget the names of their children or their siblings. This happens. This happens to all human beings. We have to make sure that we don't make fun of the elderly when they start forgetting. If we have members of the community that are going through dementia or Alzheimer's, we don't make fun of them. If they forget our names, if they start forgetting, we don't make fun of them. Why? Because tomorrow, I'm next, and you're next. Today, it's happening to someone else, the elders in the community. Tomorrow, it's me. The day after that, it's you, and so on and so forth. Don't make fun, because we will also suffer from memory loss. And we have to be very careful not to lose patience with our parents when they go through memory loss. This is natural. This is part of human law. This is part of human life. That one day, my parents and I too, later on, alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah, we will suffer from memory loss. My mother will suffer from memory loss. My father will suffer. You too, everyone. They will begin to suffer. Don't lose patience with them. If they can't remember certain things, if they keep on asking you the same questions, don't lose patience. وَاخْفِضْ لَهُمَا جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ فَإِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِنْدَكَ الْكِبَرَ أَحَدُهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا. If one of them becomes elderly, both of them become elderly, never say the word uff, or you lose patience. Never, never. They might lose their memory, but you can't lose your patience. They say that, and a gentleman, his father started losing his memory. So he would ask his son, what is this? He said, Baba, this is called a clock. What is this sitting on a tree? He would say, Baba, this is a bird. What is this? This is a box of Kleenex. And then the more questions the father asks, the son would lose patience. He would say, Baba, you asked me this already. You asked me this already. You asked me, what is this? I told you a clock. Why do you keep on asking the same question? You've already asked me once or twice, and I already answered. They say the father got up, he brought a notebook, and he said, my son, read this notebook. Read what it says. He read, clock, bird, box of Kleenex. He says, what is this? He says, the first time you said clock, I wrote it down. I was so proud of you. Now that I've forgotten these words, you make fun of me? You ridicule me? You don't have patience for my memory loss? You see, my dear friends, this is the path of life. Today it's my father, today it's my grandfather. Be sure that tomorrow will be you. Today it's the elders, but am I going to remain young my entire life? No, this is the path of life that we will all seek. With memory loss, with forgetting words, this is something very, very normal. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Can I ask the brothers to pull forward, please? I've been asked to ask you to pull forward. Recite a loud salawat and come forward. There are some individuals that suffer from forgetfulness in the state of ibadah. You're in salah. طيب, are you in the first rak'ah, second rak'ah, third rak'ah, fourth rak'ah? Some of us will forget. And wudu, did I wipe my head or I didn't? Did I wipe my right foot or my left foot? We forget. A lot of times we forget. In tawaf, am I in the fourth circle or in the fifth circle? In Rami al-Jamarat, did I hit 6 stones or did I hit 7 stones? This is something normal. Forgetfulness in ibadah is something normal. And hence we have certain fiqh principles to solve that matter. For example, We have a principle called La shakka li kathir al-shak. I spoke about this a couple of days ago when I was in Dearborn, Michigan. That if you have excessive doubts in ibadah, you shouldn't pay attention. And a lot of people, they suffer from excessive doubts and excessive forgetting. What do I mean by excessive forgetting? At least once a day they forget. Am I in the first rak'ah or second? Second or third? Third or fourth? Did I perform ruku' or not? Did I perform sujood or not? This is called excessive doubts. If you're a kathiru shak, you don't pay attention to your shak. We have another principle in fiqh called qa'idat al-faragh, meaning that once your ibadah is done, and this happens to me, this happens to you, once I finish my salah, I'm like, wait a second. Did I pray 3 rak'ahs or 4? 4 or 5? A lot of us, we're absent-minded in salah. And the reason of this forgetfulness is that we're absent-minded. We're not paying attention. As soon as we say Allahu Akbar, I go into autopilot mode. Autopilot. That means you're praying, but you're not praying. You're reciting Fatiha, but you're not really reciting Fatiha. You're like a robot. It's us. We're robotic. And hence the niyyah is important. The niyyah is important. That I pray Salatul Dhuhr qurbatan ila Allah Ta'ala. I pay attention to what I do. And we have a hadith that you receive the reward of ibadah according to how much you were paying attention. 50%, you'll receive 50% of reward. 90% of attention, you'll receive 90% of reward. 0% attention, 0% reward. That's how it works. إِنَّ لَكَ مِنْ صَلَاتِكَ مَا أَقْبَلْتَ عَلَيْهَا بِقَلْبِكَ. The hadith says, how much were you paying attention in salah? You'll receive that amount. قاعدة الفراغ says that if you forgot and you doubted after salah what you prayed, you say, inshallah, my salah is correct. Did I perform ruku'? You say, inshallah, I did, after salah. Any doubt after the ibadah, the hadith says that, you say, my ibadah is correct. After wudu, you say, wait, did I wipe my head? Did I wipe my feet? You say, inshallah, I did. You see, we have fiqh principles that solve the idea of forgetfulness, the state of forgetfulness in salah. Sajdat as-sahu, you forgot something in salah like tashahhud, you simply repeat the tashahhud. You don't have to repeat the salah. Don't repeat the salah. You simply repeat the tashahhud after salah and you perform sajdatay as-sahu. You forgot to recite Qul Huwallahu Ahad in salah. You perform sajdatay as-sahu. You stood up while you should have sat. You sat instead of standing up, but then you make up for it. After salah, you perform sajdatay as-sahu. That's it. That solves the idea of problem solving. The idea of forgetfulness and ibadah. My dear friends, there are some people, they forget so much that they develop OCD, wiswas, and ibadah. And I see this wherever I go, and I see people complaining of this wherever I go, that they forget too much in salah, too much in wudu, to the point that it gives them OCD. Do not reach that point. OCD and ibadah can be disastrous. Why? You know why? Let me give you an example first. If you go to a restaurant, what's your favorite restaurant? What's your favorite type of dish? You go to your favorite type of dish, and don't forget to invite me. And you go and you order your favorite meal and you eat it. Are you supposed to enjoy it or not? You're supposed to enjoy it. What if it's torture? What if eating your favorite dish is torture for you? Is there something wrong with the food or is there something wrong with you? There's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with the food. The food is the food. It's the same cook, cooking the same meal for others. But if you're not enjoying it, that means there's something wrong with you. Ibadah is meant to be enjoyed. When I'm not enjoying Salat al-Fajr, there's nothing wrong with the Salah. There's something wrong with me. My OCD is not letting me enjoy that Salah. I keep on doubting and I repeat it and I repeat. You're not meant to repeat Salah. You're not meant to doubt. So I tell my dear friends who suffer from OCD, deal with it from the beginning. And this is from shaitan. Doubts in Salah, this is from shaitan. أَنَّمَا هُوَ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ. We have several narrations that being doubtful, forgetting some parts of Salah, wudu, this is from shaitan. Why? Because inshallah we're all religious. and we're all mu'mineen, how is shaitan going to come to you? By telling you to gamble or to drink or what? To kill? Of course, he's not going to come through these outlets. He's going to come through the outlet of salah. He comes through salah. A mu'min is tested through his salah. Shaitan comes through that window. طيب. Forgetfulness, my dear brothers and sisters, has been addressed in the Quran. We have plenty of verses on the concept of forgetfulness. For example, the Quran tells us that Allah never forgets. I forget, you forget, we all forget. But Allah never forgets. وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ نَسِيًّا. Allah never forgets. We might do something and 40 years pass and people try to remind me, I don't remember. But Allah never forgets. Allah never forgets. قال علمها عند ربي في كتاب لا يضل ربي ولا ينسى. Allah never forgets. Allah writes everything down. Good deeds, bad deeds. Small deeds, big deeds. They're all written down. They're all remembered by Allah Azza wa Jal. The Quran tells us that we should ask Allah for a dua, a special dua. What is that? Oh Allah, do not hold us accountable if we do something out of forgetfulness, or when we do something as a mistake. I know I'm not supposed to say ghiba, but sometimes I forget. I know I'm not supposed to listen to ghiba, but I forget. Oh Allah, don't hold me accountable. رَبَّنَا لَا تُؤَاخِذْنَا إِن نَسِينَا أَوْ أَخْطَأْنَا. Oh Allah, don't hold me accountable when I forget, when I'm in a state of nisyan, when I'm in a state of ghafla, when I'm in a state of forgetfulness. The Quran tells us that some will forget Allah. Some human beings, they forget Allah. They forget that one day they will die. They forget that one day we will be put in a grave. They will forget that there's a day of judgment. We forget. فَالْيَوْمَ نَنْسَاهُمْ كَمَا نَسُوا لِقَاءَ يَوْمِهِمْ هَذَا. Allah says that we will forget them, some humans, the way they forgot the day of judgment. Yes, we will forget the day of judgment. We human beings, we're busy with dunya, with money, with business. We're so immersed into dunya that we forget the fact that we are here temporarily. And when a day will come that I will be asked to leave. I'll be asked to leave. وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ. Do not be like those who forgot Allah, so He made them forget themselves. Ajib. Okay, forgetting Allah, I can understand that. But forgetting ourselves, how can I forget myself? Yes, I can forget myself. I forget who I am. I forget my role in life. I forget what my responsibility is in life. I forget that I'm a weak human being that could be killed by choking over a small fruit, over a grape, or sometimes drinking water. You swallow it the wrong way, you die. We forget this. فَأَنْسَاهُمْ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَنَسِيَهُمْ. We forget Allah, so Allah forgets us. That's how it works. فَاذْكُرُوا, Allah says, فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرْكُمْ. Remember me and I'll remember you. It can't work one way. Loyalty is a two-way street. Remembrance is a two-way street. We remember Allah, Allah says, I'll remember you. فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرْكُمْ. نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَنَسِيَهُمْ. They forgot Allah and Allah forgets them. And then we say, why doesn't Allah answer my dua? I pray, I worship during Laylatul Qadr, during the blessed nights. I pray, but to no avail. Why? Because I forgot Allah and Allah forgets me. Allah also forgets me. It works both ways. طيب. Some people, the Quran says that some people will forget about their actions. What they did in alam al-dunya 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. They completely forget. They come on the day of judgment. Every person is given a book. Inshallah, we will receive our books in our right hands. The kuffar will receive their books in their left hands. That day we will read. That day we will be reminded. Ajib, I did this, I don't remember. And we will know the exact time, exact place. Today on your iPhones, we forget, where did I go? Summer vacation, winter vacation, during Christmas. I forget, but the iPhone tells me. I went to this place, at this time, at this hour, this year, this date, and the name of the place. I forget, but the iPhone tells me. On the Day of Judgment, we'll have something similar to the iPhone. It will tell me exactly what I did, who was there, at what time, what place, what hour. ويقولون يا ويلتنا ما لهذا الكتاب لا يغادر صغيرة ولا كبيرة إلا أحصاها ووجدوا ما عملوا حاضرا ولا يظلم ربك أحدا. We will say, woe unto me, this book has everything, everything, from the smallest deed to the biggest deed. It's all here, it's all recorded, but I forgot, deeds that I forgot about, deeds that I didn't think would be recorded. You know, sometimes at 2 in the morning, you're coming back from Idara-e-Jaferia, you're going back home, and you see the traffic light, it's green, all of a sudden it's orange, all of a sudden it's red, and you look right and left, no one's looking, you speed, hopefully there's no camera. After a month, you're recorded. Smile, you're on camera. On the Day of Judgment, we'll have that. Smile, we recorded you. The things that you thought you didn't do or you forgot about, the misdemeanors that you did, they're all here. وَوَجَدُوا مَا عَمِلُوا حَاضِرًا. We will see our actions. We will see our deeds. Some ulama, they tell us of tajseed al-a'mal, that our actions will take physical shapes, physical forms, good deeds and bad deeds. And we will ask, what is this? What is this? What's this object? What's this animal? What's this food? What are these fruits? They will tell us these were your a'mal in dunya. Your a'mal in dunya translated to physical objects on the Day of Judgment. But we forget. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. As I said in the beginning of the lecture, forgetfulness is natural in human beings. Al-insan min al-nisyan. Al-insan was called insan because he forgets. It's from nisyan. But what about prophets? For us, it's natural. But is it natural for the prophets and the messengers of Allah to forget? Is this possible? Does this not conflict with infallibility? We have several verses in the Holy Quran that tell us some prophets of Allah forgot. They forgot. So how do we reinterpret these verses? How do we interpret these verses? How are we meant to understand these verses? So for example, Adam alayhi salam, وَلَقَدْ عَهِدْنَا إِلَىٰ آدَمَ مِنْ قَبْلِ فَنَسِيَ وَلَمْ نَجِدْ لَهُ عَزْمًا. Allah says that we commanded Adam from before, but he forgot. We told him, do not eat from the forbidden tree. Adam and his wife were told not to eat from the forbidden tree, yet Adam forgot. This is one. Two, Yusuf. Allah tells us the Prophet Yusuf, وَقَالَ لِلَّذِي ظَنَّ أَنَّهُ نَاجٍ مِّنْهُمَا اذْكُرْنِي عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ فَأَنْسَاهُ الشَّيْطَانُ ذِكْرَ رَبِّهِ فَلَبِثَ فِي السِّجْنِ بِضْعَ سِنِينَ. Yusuf alayhi salam was in prison and he had two cellmates. And you've heard of the famous story. They both had dreams. One saw a dream where he's giving wine. He's offering wine to the king. The other saw birds eating from his head. And he told them that the one eating, the birds eating from his head, he told them that you'll be crucified and you will be killed. And as for the one giving wine to your king, you will be in the service of the king. You will both be free. One will be executed and the other will be freed. But when you go to the king, remember me. Mention me. Mention me. طيب? فَأَنْسَاهُ الشَّيْطَانُ ذِكْرَ رَبِّهِ. Shaitan made him forget his Lord. Made him forget Allah. فَأَنْسَاهُ الشَّيْطَانُ ذِكْرَ رَبِّهِ. So some Mufassirin say that this verse is talking about Yusuf. Yusuf forgot, instead of asking Allah to release him from prison, he asked his cellmate to mention him to the king so that the king may release him from prison. So this is another example. A third example is Yusha ibn Nun. the heir of Musa alayhi salam. Yusha ibn Nun was a prophet and an imam. And an imam. طيب. Yusha ibn Nun also has another name called Dhul Kifl. Dhul Kifl is buried in between Karbala and Najaf. There's an area called, Iraqis call it al-Chifl or Dhul Kifl. But you have to go off-road. There is the grave site of Yusha ibn Nun, the heir of Musa alayhi salam. Dhul Kifl. The Quran says, فَلَمَّا جَاوَزَا قال لفتاه عادنا غداءنا لقد لقينا من سفرنا هذا نصبا قال أرأيت إذ أوينا إلى الصخرة فنسيت الحوت. Musa and Yusha ibn Nun were traveling. Yusha ibn Nun forgot their fish. They wanted to have fish for lunch. They stopped to rest, and then they kept on walking, and then they stopped to have lunch. Musa tells them, "Where's the fish?" He said, "I forgot it." فَنَسِيتُ الْحُوتِ. And no, not only that, وَمَا أَنْسَانِيهُ إِلَّا الشَّيْطَانِ. Yusha ibn Nun says that Shaitan made me forget. Shaitan made me forget. So how could a prophet allow Shaitan to allow him to forget? How can he forget? A fourth and last example, Musa alayhi salam. And the famous story of Musa and Khidr, when Musa sees عَبْدًا مِنْ عِبَادِنَا آتَيْنَاهُ مِنَّا رَحْمَةً. He sees al-Khidr. Khidr is not mentioned directly by name in the Quran, but in Surah Al-Kahf alludes to Khidr. And we know that Khidr had more knowledge than Musa. Yes, they might be both prophets. In fact, there's a debate whether al-Khidr is a prophet or he's not a prophet. At any rate, he was more knowledgeable than Musa. And he had the ilm of ta'weel. He read between the lines. He saw the reality of things. Musa asked al-Khidr for him to accompany him. Al-Khidr told him, أَنَّكَ لَن تَسْتَطِيعَ مَعِيَ الصَّبْرَ. You cannot be patient to see what I will do. Musa kept on insisting. The famous story that Khidr performed three things, and Musa lost his patience, and he said, قَالَ لَا تُؤَاخِذْنِي بِمَا نَسِيتُ. So he objected. Musa objected to al-Khidr. That why did you do this? Why did you kill that young man? Why did you break the ship? Why did you build the wall that was about to fall? He objected to Khidr. Khidr told him, didn't you say that you will be patient? Didn't you say that you will be silent? He said, لا تؤاخذني بما نسيت. Don't hold me accountable for forgetting. So Musa here admits to forgetting. So what do we do with these verses? How are we supposed to understand these verses? How are we supposed to interpret these verses? Our Sunni brothers and sisters, for them it's simple. For them, they say, yeah, so what? They forgot. Shaitan made him forget. So what? Why? Because they do not look at prophets the way we look at prophets. Even the final messenger. The way we followers of Ahlul Bayt, we see the prophet, it's different than our Sunni brothers and sisters. And this is a reality. This is a reality. Right? So how do we reinterpret these verses? Number one, first of all, any verse in the Holy Quran that conflicts with reason and rationale must be reinterpreted, must not be taken literal. Let me give you an example. The Quran says, Yadullah fawqa aydihim. The hand of God is above their hands. Does God have a hand? No. So how can we take this verse literally? The verse is flat out saying the hand of God is above their hands. But we know this conflicts with reason, because God cannot have a hand. God cannot have a human form, cannot have a human body. Hence we reanalyze the verse. We say the hand of God means God's power, God's superiority. Yadullah means quwwatullah. The power of God is above their power. Another example. Ar-Rahmanu ala al-Arshi stawa. The All-Merciful sits on His throne. Stawa means Allah sits on His throne. Allah sits. Allah has a human shape. Allah has a body. We can't take these verses literal. Why? Because we have a rational law. We have reason. We have a dalil aqli that says Allah Azza wa Jal cannot have a human shape. He cannot have a human body. Hence we come and we analyze the verse. We don't take it literally. We say, Ar-Rahmanu ala al-arshi istawa. Ulama say, stawla. Allah takes over the throne. Subsides over the throne. Takes over the throne. Not that He sits on top of the throne. You see? So these verses that attribute forgetfulness to prophets, they conflict with dalil aqli, they conflict with reason. And what is that? That prophets have to be infallible. Prophets have to be immaculate. Prophets have to be perfect. Perfect. They don't forget. They don't commit sins. They don't forget Allah Azza wa Jal. They do not allow shaitan to take over them, to make them forget. This has been proven. Why? Because if prophets may forget or they may sin or, then how can we follow them? How can we follow them? This defeats the purpose of Islam. This defeats the purpose of all of the world religions. Why would I follow a prophet that could forget and may forget Allah or may commit sins? So there's a rational proof. We have to not take these verses literal. We have to give them another meaning. For example, nasiya in the Arabic language can mean taraka. He let go. He let go. فَنَسِيَ حُوتَهُمَا. He forgot their fish. It doesn't mean he forgot their. He let go of the fish on purpose. On purpose. It's not that he forgot. There was a reason why he let go of the fish. Or وَلَقَدْ عَهَدْنَا لِآدَمَ مِنْ قَبْلُ فَنَسِيَ. Adam didn't forget. Adam فَتَرَكَ. Adam let go. Let go of what is awla. Adam alayhi salam, true, he was forbidden from eating from the forbidden tree, but it wasn't, he didn't commit that which was haram. He did something that he was not supposed to. It's like going to the doctor. You go to a dentist and he fixes your tooth, you had a root canal, but he says don't eat food over it. Don't eat food. What does that mean? Does that mean if you eat food, the dentist is going to come and punish you? No, it means that you're going to be in pain. That means that if you're supposed to recover in 3 days, recovery is going to take you 6 days. This is called tarkil awla. As for, this is the first answer. Second answer, فَإِنِّي نَسِيتُ الْحُوتِ, that I forgot the fish. Some scholars say that this was not Musa nor Yusha ibn Nun. This was a third party. This was someone else, not even a prophet. Problem solved. Third answer, فَأَنْسَاهُ الشَّيْطَانُ ذِكْرَ رَبِّهِ. Some mufassirin, including our Sunni brothers and sisters and Sunni books of tafsir, they say that Yusuf forgot the remembrance of Allah. And hence, instead of asking Allah to release him from prison, he relied on his cellmate to mention him to the king so that the king releases him from prison. It's not that فَأَنْسَاهُ الشَّيْطَانُ ذِكْرَ رَبِّهِ. Not Yusuf forgot Allah. It is the cellmate who forgot to tell the king. Rabb here does not mean God, it means the king. It means that his cellmate, when Yusuf told him, mention me to the king so that he releases me from prison, it was his cellmate who forgot to tell the king that there's a poor guy in prison called Yusuf and he's innocent. This is what it means. As for Musa, قَالَ لَا تُؤَاخِذْنِي بِمَا نَسِيتِ. He tells al-Khidr, قَالَ لَا تُؤَاخِذْنِي بِمَا نَسِيتِ. Do not hold me accountable for forgetting. Ulama say that nasi doesn't mean I forgot. It means la adri. I didn't know. And there's no harm in some prophets not knowing certain things. Some prophets were more knowledgeable than others. Not knowing does not conflict with asma. Forgetting might conflict with asma, but not forgetting. طيب. On the night of Ashura, when the camp of Umar bin Sa'd gathered and they set their camps and they were preparing for battle, Ali al-Akbar asked a question from his father, Imam al-Hossein alayhi salam. He told him, my dear father, these guys on the other side of the camp, do they know who you are? Yes. Do they know that you're the grandson of Rasulullah? Yes. Do they know that you're the son of Fatima? Yes. Do they know that you're the only grandchild to Rasulullah on earth? Yes, my dear son Ali al-Akbar. He said, then why are they fighting us? Why are they fighting you? Why are they preparing for battle to kill you? Imam al-Hussein answered this way, Ya bunayya ha'ula'i qawmun, these are a group of people, istahwadha alayhim ash-shaytan fa'ansahum dhikr Allah. These are a group of people that are overtaken by shaitan. Shaitan made them forget Allah. They forgot Allah. They forgot who were they fighting. Because it's dunya. It's all about dunya. Umar bin Sa'd is related to Imam al-Hussein. He's a distant cousin or a second cousin to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. But Umar bin Sa'd was offered the governorship of Shahriray, Tehran. And Tehran was huge. It was a governorship. It wasn't just a city. So he had to make a decision between killing the only grandson to Rasulullah or to receive the governorship of Shahriray, the governorship of modern day Tehran. They were overcome by dunya, and dunya makes the biggest person forget who they are and forget the remembrance of Allah. استحوذ عليهم الشيطان فأنساهم ذكر الله. They've forgotten the remembrance of Allah. They've forgotten Allah. You see, my dear friends, on the day of Ashura, both camps prayed. Both camps prayed Salatul Dhuhr. On one side, Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam prayed Salatul Dhuhr in Jama'ah, but he prayed Salatul Khawf, meaning his companions would take turns praying with him. And they did not let go of their weapons. One of his companions, he tells him, Hana waqtu salah, it is the time for salah. And Imam al-Hussein tells him, Dhakarta salah, ja'alaka Allah min al-musallin. You've remembered salah, may you be amongst those who uphold salah. Imam al-Hussein prayed Salatul Khawf, where a group of companions, they hold their armor while others, they join in Salatul Jama'ah, and then they take turns. There's a special way of praying Salatul Khawf in the middle of the battlefield. While Umar bin Sa'd, he also prayed. Umar bin Sa'd, in fact, led his army in Salah. And they didn't pray Salatul Khawf. They prayed a normal Salah, maybe a longer Salah. Maybe the Salah of Imam Hussein was shorter because of the arrows being sent to him. But are they the same? Is it the same Salah? Is it the same remembrance of Allah? What sort of Salah did Umar bin Sa'd pray with his companions when he was about to kill the only grandson to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Would this Salah be even accepted? Is this Salah the Salah that Allah says, "Inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar"? The Salah that is supposed to stop you from committing munkar. Yet Umar bin Sa'd gladly massacred the household of Rasulullah right after his Salah. Right after his Salah. We still live in the days of Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam, and the tragedy of Imam Zayn al-Abidin on the day of Ashura, when all of the companions one by one had entered the battlefield and they were killed, and Imam al-Hussein pays a visit to his son al-Imam Zayn al-Abidin. Imam Zayn al-Abidin was on his bed. He could not stand. He was suffering from pain, the pain of illness, the pain of sickness. He told him, Abatah, tell me about my uncle al-Abbas. He told him, your uncle al-Abbas is lying. He's lying next to the river. My dear father, where's my brother Ali al-Akbar? He told him, your brother Ali al-Akbar is cut into pieces. خَطَعُوهُ إِرْبًا إِرْبًا. My dear father, tell me about my cousin al-Qasim. He told him, al-Qasim is gone. They're all gone. Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam grabs a stick and he holds his sword and he says, then allow me to go inside the battle. He told him, my son, you're ill. You're fallen ill. You cannot join the battle. He holds him. He says, let me. If they've all gone, why do you stop me from entering the battlefield? Yet the Imam stops him. This is one visit. This was one visit to Imam Zayn al-Abidin on the day of Ashura. Another visit was by his aunt Zaynab alayhi salam. This time the circumstances were a bit different. There was an earthquake. There was an eclipse. and there was high wind. Sayyidah Zaynab alayhi salam, she comes into the camp, into the tent of Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam. She says, my dear nephew, explain to me what is happening. There's an eclipse outside. There's an earthquake happening. There's high wind. What is happening? Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam was lying on his bed. He removes the curtain from his tent and he says, Amma Zaynab, look outside. Zaynab looks and they see Shamr ibn al-Jawshan moving away from the body of Imam Hussein, and there's something in his hand. Imam Zayn al-Abidin looks and he sees the head of Imam Hussein held by Shamr ibn al-Jawshan. Moments later, the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam is on a spear in front of his sister Zaynab alayhi salam. Tonight is the conclusion of our majlis. I'd like to recite this musibah as we conclude. Al-Allama al-Majlisi, the author of Bihar al-Anwar, had a dream that he was reciting a majlis. He was reciting a majlis in a very big gathering. And then he sees everyone sitting. All of a sudden, from the door, people stand up in reverence for someone. So he asks, he says, what is happening? They tell him, Ya Shaykh, Fatima al-Zahra has entered the majlis. So Allama al-Majlisi, he stops out of respect for Fatima al-Zahra. Then someone comes and he says, Ya Shaykh, Fatima al-Zahra, she sends her salams to you, and she says, recite Musibat al-Wada', the final farewell. So he says, tell Sayyidati that I do not have the Musibat al-Wada' memorized. He goes and he comes back and he says that Fatima al-Zahra insists that you recite Musibat al-Wada'. So Allama al-Majlisi begins to recite what he has memorized. Imam Hussein is about to enter the battlefield. He comes to the tent of his sisters and daughters. Ya Zaynab, wa ya Kulthum, wa ya Sukayna, wa ya Ruqayya, wa ya Rubab. عليكن مني السلام فهذا آخر الاجتماع الوداع الوداع. Imam Hussein begins to say farewell, and then he says, من ذا يقدم لي جوادي, who will bring my horse? Zaynab brings him his horse. She says, وأي أخت تقدم لأخيها جواد المنية, which evil sister will bring the horse of death to her brother? Imam Hussein gets on top of his horse. He enters the battlefield. أنا الحسين بن علي آليت أن لا أنثني أحمي عيالاتي أبي أحمي على دين النبي. Imam Hussein is about to enter the battlefield. All of a sudden he hears a voice from behind him, مهلا مهلا يا ابن الزهراء, oh the son of Fatima, not so fast. Don't rush to your fate. أخي أبا عبد الله انزل من على ظهر جوادك. My dear brother Hussein, come down from your horse for one last time. Imam Hussein comes down from his horse. She tells him, my dear brother, اكشف لي من عن صدرك وعن نحرك. Expose your chest and expose your neck. She comes to him, she kisses him on his chest and she kisses him on his neck, and then she looks towards Medina and she says, Ummah, laqad addaytu al-amana. My mother, I did what you told me. Hussein tells her, my sister, you break my heart with these words. What are you saying? She tells him, my brother, when it was the final night of our mother's life, she called me. She told me, Zaynab, a day will come that you will see your brother all alone, standing without anyone to protect him. Kiss him on his chest and on his neck and tell him this is from your mother Fatima. Allama al-Majlisi was reciting Musibat al-Wada'. Someone comes to him and says, Ya Shaykh, stop reciting. Fatima al-Zahra has fainted. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. نسألك اللهم وندعوك باسمك العلي الأعظم الأعز الأجل الأكرم يا الله. اللهم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا عيبا إلا سترته ولا خوفا إلا آمنته ولا رزقا إلا بسطته ولا شملا إلا جمعته ولا مرضا إلا شفيته ولا غائبا إلا حفظته وأدنيته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا والآخرة لك فيها رضا ولنا فيها صلاح إلا قضيتها ويسرتها يا أرحم الراحمين. ولأرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات والعلماء والشهداء, and to the souls of the sponsors, to the souls of the deceased and the loved ones of the sponsors of tonight's niyaz. Al-Fatiha ma'a salawat.
Hussein, Hussein,
Hossein, 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 Hossein. Oh Hussein, we remember you, oh Hussein. Oh Hussein, we remember you, oh Hussein. Everyone. Oh Hussein, we remember you, oh Hussein. Oh Hussein, we remember you, oh Hussein. Oh Hussein, everyone, we remember you, oh Hussein. Oh Hussein, you, oh Hussein. The dust befell the city and the earth of Karbala. A shining prince's last moments, the son of Fatima. Around him still silence lies inside the hearts of kin. A mother mourns her baby's thirst, she holds the pain within. A little child comes silently with innocence and grace. She touches gently, lovingly her father's aging face. Oh sad, we remember you, oh sad. Oh sad, we remember you, oh sad. Oh sad, we remember you, oh sad. Everyone. Oh sad.
We remember you, oh Hussein.
Oh Father dear, she whispers, why do you shed a tear? Don't feel so sad, it's God's wish, I do not have a fear. Oh child, you are so young, with understanding great. Only through the faith we have, we understand our fate. Oh sad, we remember you, oh sad. Oh sad, we remember you, oh sad. Oh sad, we remember you, oh sad. Oh sad,
We remember
you, oh sad. Oh Father, let me stay this night, don't let us be apart. She laid her weak and weary head close to her father's heart. Oh Sakina, don't you know my sorrows are but few? I care not for my humble life, the future's left with you. Oh sad, we remember you, oh sad. Oh sad, we remember you, oh sad. Oh sad, we remember you, oh sad. Oh sad,
We remember you, oh Hussein.
they'll drag you through the streets so proud, they'll try to take your shame and mock the dearest ones you've lost, but who will take the blame? They'll take you on the camel's back from Karbala to Sham. Oh, it'll carry in your soul the banner of Islam. Oh sad, we remember you, oh sad. Oh sad, we remember you, oh sad. Oh sad, we remember you, oh sad. Oh sad,
We remember you, oh Hussein.
the holy prince held closer than is your beloved child. The pain we bear in this short life is only for a while. Sure enough, the sorrow hands will reunite. You see, there is a place in paradise where you will come to me. Oh, Syed, we remember you, oh, Syed. 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 Ya Hossein.
A tear drops in sorrow, heartbreak. The daughter of Hossein. A whisper from this young child, so tightly bound in chains. Who would have thought this princess of the Holy Family would see and lose everything from one faithful journey? This is the tragedy of Karbala and Ashura. To Kufa and to Sham, the torment's never too far. Who would have thought this princess would see and lose everything? Who would have thought this princess would see and lose everything? The children cry, dry throats and parched lips all around, and uncle mounts his horse, a new hope now surround. Return with the water to the tents of truth and light. A shower of arrows blows from on this moon, falls down in fight. Oh, Master Hossein, I have failed my promise unfulfilled. A young girl sees this flag fallen, her hopes are now shattered. Who would have thought this princess would see and lose everything? The 10th of Muharram, the heavens filled with such shame. A baby brother, innocent Ali Asghar was his name. So thirsty, yet no water, but an arrow for his cries. A neck so small, the arrow went right through, such was its size. Stunned silence, broken by the wail, broken hearts all around. An empty cradle on the plains of Karbala is found. Who would have thought this princess would see and lose everything? Who would have thought this princess would see and lose everything? The winds now howl, skies darken, the angels agonize. Hossein tells Zaynab that the time has now arrived. His daughter watches her heart pounds. My father, do not leave. If you to go, who will come from me? Oh, father, do not leave. Hossein rides boldly into battle, daughter in despair. This father murdered in sajda, this is the prophet's heir. Who would have thought this princess would see and lose everything? Who would have thought this princess would see and lose everything? The prisoners in Sham, the children sobbing through the night, the children and ladies, stifled wails in fright. The daughter of Hussein does grieve her father. The prisoners in Sham, children sobbing through the night, children and ladies tied in chains, their stifled wails in fright. The daughter of Hussein does grieve, her heart cannot fight. The tears do flow her father's chest, she yearns for some respite. A head set down, severed, bloodstained, her father's face at last. She sinks now down onto the floor, her pains have now all past. Hussein, 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 Hussein,
Inshallah, we'll have ziyarat after Salat. There is a request for Surah Fatiha for the sponsor of the majlis. And the marhumin are Saladi Bibi, Haji Ghulam Haider, Zaynab Ghulam Hussein Muhammad, Ghulam Ali Damanji. Please recite a Surah Fatiha.